Hey guys, Mordecai here. I think I messed up, so I'm going to go over a video here comparing scanners versus limit breakers. I'm on a custom world right now. On the main world, I have a full set. This is what it looks like on my main character. I have a full set of Vulcan, Overeaters, Luck, Through Hikers, and Scanners. So my thought was, so Scanner says action point cost of V.A.T.S attacks reduced by 5%, up to 25% on a full stack. So that's basically like a second V.A.T.S optimized, you know, minus 25% action point cost. So I was like, wow, minus 50% action point cost? That's what I'm going to go for. But after I finally got it and did a lot of grinding and trading to get it, it's not working as I thought. So I'll show you here. Okay, so here we got a Gatling plasma. When I have the AP cost on it, it's AP cost of 10. If I craft a, let me do this real quick. So a plain, freshly crafted Gatling plasma has an AP cost of 15. If this is a non-legendary one that I've modded to have 13 AP cost, so without any legendaries on it, you can put traditional, I guess you would call them mods, non-legendary mods, to make it down to 13. So that would be the reflex site, I believe, knocks it down to 13. Then, if you put the V.A.T.S optimized, the third star on it, it knocks it down to AP cost of 10. So it goes from 13 to 10, as you can see there on the bottom left-hand corner. But if I hop in my armor here, as you can see, my armor, every single piece has scanners on it. So scanners on every single piece. And so that gives me a 25% reduction in AP cost of V.A.T.S attacks. So you would think that that means, well, 25 on the armor and 25 on the weapon, a 50% reduction in AP cost while using V.A.T.S. So you're like, wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, it doesn't seem to work that way. What it seems to work is it's a multiplicative instead of additive. So it's, sorry, I'm kind of doing math in my head and wrapping my brain around this because I still don't fully understand it, but it seems to be like maybe diminishing returns. Like it seems to be 33% reduction in AP cost. So if you're going to take your armor and farm for the scanners mod, so you get a piece on every single one, you're really only going to get an AP cost reduction of 33%. So an additional 8% AP cost. So also, if you notice here, got to get back out. So if you notice, it is AP cost of 10. That's what it says on here, not in my power armor. AP cost of 10. And then when I get back in and I look at the weapon, still only AP cost of 10. So the reduction, the 8% reduction, isn't reflected on the weapon for reduced AP cost. I haven't done a lot of testing because it's not that much of a reduction, so it's kind of hard to tell. But but either way, I will show you it in action here. Now, before I do, also on this weapon is conductors. So critical hits restore 5% of health and AP cost for players and teammates within the 50-foot radius. Now, by itself, it's not that great. But if everybody in your team had this and was using V.A.T.S, that'd be fantastic. So for raid runs, if everybody had conductors and was using V.A.T.S, that'd work out pretty well. The other one I have is pinpointers. 50% damage when targeting enemy appendages. Example, arms and legs. Now, what I found is that also applies to headshots. Like, for example, if you target the eyes on the snake, on the Ultrasight Terror. But here, we'll go fight a couple things here. After I'm no longer over encumbered. Okay, so the basis of this build is that I have minimum 33 luck. I took a chem, so normally this would be at 33, not 35. So 33 luck with critical savvy means that I can crit every other shot. So with that, 33 luck and that, I can crit every other shot, and then with the armor, I have luck on every single piece to boost my luck to get that. And then, of course, I have through hikers. I would prefer not to use through hikers, but since it combines through hikers card and technically traveling pharmacy, that makes it very useful. And I do carry a lot, and I can't be bothered to go back and forth to mules to get my aid and my food stuff. So it's definitely a quality of life card that I have on all of those. Helps out a lot, especially in the raid when it's dropping tons of chems. It makes life just a lot easier. So also, if you notice with the Vulcan, with the full set, it has 25% AP regen, 25% fusion core duration, and that helps out a lot because using V.A.T.S as a heavy gunner burns through my cores a lot. Also on the torso, I have the Kinetic Dynamo, which restores action points by 20% of damage taken. So what I'm showing you here, I am on the custom world, but this is what I actually have on my main. And then, of course, I have calibrated shocks and gimbal bracers, and that does 15% scoped and hipfire accuracy, which I use while my AP is recharging. So, okay, we'll give this guy a test out here. So my AP almost lasted for the full thing, and I'm not using any like additional damage perks or anything. I've got pemmican and purified water, and I have that at my camp, so I can easily get some of that every day, and it lasts a long time. Also, with this build, it does, even as it sits, it chews through a lot of AP, even with everything. So, popping canned coffee, if I pop 10 with the current setup that I have, I can pretty much unload an entire 500 round magazine before my AP runs out. So, with this build, if you can afford to pop 10 canned coffee each time, it's going to shred. So this kind of setup was only, previously possible as like a commando build, like non-power armor. Let's see. So that got it about half before I ran out, without any camp buffs or like playing an instrument. All right. Being able to do a V.A.T.S build effectively in power armor is something that I'm trying to do here, and it seems very possible. But I also don't want to have to rely on popping coffee, because if you're running raid runs, you're going to be going through your entire stack, and you can't do resource camps anymore, at least for now. So it's not that you can stock up on it. So I'm trying to make this work. So I'll be right back. I'd also like to point out that with this build, my AP pool is only 327. So I'm saving on AP cost, but at the cost of having a lower AP pool. So I don't like that. So this next setup is every single piece still has overeaters, still has through hikers, but instead for the 2-star they all have agility, and for the 4-star they all have limit breaking. So with the limit breaking, you have each worn piece reduces the cost of critical hits by 10%, up to 50% on a full stack. So what that effectively does is when combined with critical savvy, that makes it so that you only have to have 15 luck in order to crit every other shot, instead of having to have 33. What that also allows me to do is boost my agility so that I have an increased AP pool. So I'm still critting every other shot, but I have a greater AP pool. I want my endurance up as high as possible so that I can also increase my AP pool because of the endurance perks. This is the exact same setup that I have on the scanner setup, but instead of luck, I swapped it with max charisma. I started my build out with Union and Funky Duds for extra poison protection, but I swapped out for Vulcan so I can have better AP regen and whatnot, combined with like Thirst Quencher for max AP. I want my endurance up, so I wanted to have the legendary cards and like something essential like Bullet Shield, 20% deflect chance, which goes well with Ricochet. So even though reflecting isn't the point of the build, it's nice to have in addition. Yeah, Action Boy for increased. Adrenaline and Gun Fu is not going to help you with single target enemies like in this raid, but it will help for things outside of it. You're probably going to tear things up in Radiation Rumble and Encrypted. You see I've got 31 agility. I only have 17 luck because I think I have a day tripper going. You only really need 15. When you're in a group like I am now, because herd mentality, that's got my luck with +2. But if you're outside of a group, if you really want to, you can just pop some chems to get that extra luck. So make sure you're at 15. So we're going to test this on a Scorch Beast here. And I'm carrying 2 of them. One of them's Conductors. So critical hits restore 5% of your AP pool on crits. The other one is Pinpointers, which 50% crit damage. So I swap back and forth between those. With the Pinpointers, you're going to see higher crits. So a legendary 1-star, it goes down before I run out of AP. So I'd also like to point out that Uh, the Gatling Plasma has two non-legendary mods that are very difficult to get, but are very important. One is the Stinging Core Receptacle, which adds 20% armor penetration. You can find those box mods at Watoga Train Station, Super Duper Mart, Berkeley Springs, and you can get the plan to make it, to apply it to your weapons at Hide and or Seek and Destroy, getting the nuclear keycard out of the cargo bot. I can make a video about getting that later. But the accelerated barrel is the other one, which gives you faster fire rate, which means that you can take instead of having a 25-25, you can put crit back on there and still have faster fire rate. So you'll effectively have a whatever the first star is, and then a 25-25, but also a 50 at the same time. It would do faster fire rate, crit damage, and in my case, V.A.T.S optimized. So my in-game recommendation is to get a full set of Vulcan, do Overeaters, Agility, and Through Hikers, and Limit Breakers. That's going to give you a higher AP pool, crit every other shot, and then have the two Gatling plasmas with the Stinging Core and the accelerated nozzle on both, and with the second star being crit, third star being V.A.T.S optimized. And that's going to be also with the card setup that I'm showing on screen at the moment. That's going to be what I recommend for not only the raid runs, but everyday use as a power armor heavy V.A.T.S user. Alright, so that's basically my conclusion. I'm going to do a little bit more testing. I'm going to try to get these things together on my main character. And when I finally finish that, I will put together like a finalized video showcasing the build, showing it in action in the raid, and outside of the raid, and other circumstances. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll try to get that video together as soon as I can. Have a nice day.